Hey guys, my name is Ashley and welcome back to my channel, Worth the Read, where we talk about books that are worth your time reading. So I was watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix, and one of her best friends went to their teacher to get a book approved to write a report on it. And the teacher told her no. And basically she found out that the book was banned. And that book was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Now, I did not read this book. So I decided, of course, purchase the book so I can enjoy it. But then on the TV show, she decides to go in the school library and just look for other books. And she found out that they were banned. So it got me to thinking, what books have been banned? And for what reason? Why did people think they were inappropriate for people to read? I'm a firm believer in free speech and free literacy and freedom of the press and things like that. Even when it does not agree with what I believe in, I still feel as though people have the right to write out and give out whatever they feel. So I compiled a list of my top 10 books that were banned for the craziest reasons. And they may not seem crazy to you, but to me, in my opinion, absolutely ridiculous. So let's get right into it. Number 10 in my banned book top 10 list is Tarzan by Edgar Rice. Now, ironically, Tarzana, California, they thought that they should ban Tarzan, or they tried to ban Tarzan, because they felt as though, wait for it, Tarzan and Jane weren't married and they were cohabitating. Pretty much, that's it. Because they felt they weren't married and they lived in a treehouse together, and that is against their religious beliefs, then nobody should read this book. It's banned. What I found out when doing research for this top 10 list, a lot of the reasons for banning the literature is for religious reasons. So let me just get that out there right now. But yeah, Tarzan is a children's book, and they felt as though it wasn't appropriate because Tarzan and Jane weren't married. Number 9, Harriet the Spy. Now, I did not read Harriet the Spy. The book, I saw the Nickelodeon adaptation of the book. It was kind of one of my favorite movies growing up. I loved Harriet the Spy. Rosie O'Donnell was on it. It was great. I loved Harriet the Spy. So I watched this movie a billion times. I've never read the book, but I watched the movie. But when the book was released in the 1960s, religious groups wanted to ban it because they felt as though, because Harriet was technically spying on people, looking in her neighbor's windows and writing down brutally honest observations, they felt it was inappropriate for children to read. Now, nevertheless, the fact that her spying, and because she wrote everything down, promotes literacy, reading, she read a lot, she wrote a lot, they forget all that. The fact that it promotes writing with children and journaling, which we've all discovered is an amazing thing, and people should do it more often. And I promote my children at school to journal. They felt as though it wasn't good because she was being nosy and writing down observations. So they wanted to ban it. As simple as that. Banned book number 8, The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Now, most students have had The Diary of Anne Frank on their school reading list. So I was surprised, well, I'm really not surprised, but I was surprised when I researched and found out that this book is on the list for being one of the most popular books to be banned. For one reason, they say it's a lot of pornographic scenery or scenes in the book. It's a lot of sex scenes in every book. Whatever. But the Alabama State Textbook Committee felt as though it was a real downer. Literally quoting, guys, they felt as though The Diary of Anne Frank was a real downer. So they wanted to ban the book. Now, I do agree. The Diary of Anne Frank is depressing. Yes. But it's a story that needs to be told and should be told. And why would you want to block such history like that? Who knows? But because they were depressed and it was a real downer and they felt it was too dramatic, they wanted to ban this amazing book. Ban book number 7 and 6 have similar reasons. Ban book number 7, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This book was banned in 1931 in China because they felt as though animals using the human language is not acceptable. It's fiction. It's children's fiction, people. But because animals were talking in it, they banned the book. They go as far as to saying putting animals at the same level as humans is disastrous. They will not accept it. Animals are supposed to be lower than humans, and portraying them in where they're able to talk and speak the human language is an abomination. So we're just going to ban this book from our libraries, our schools, and everything else. So children won't be able to use their imagination and dive into the world of Alice in Wonderland. A number 6 book has been read by millions of children, has been read to millions of children, or is on every bookshelf in every daycare, young preschool, everywhere. And that is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. Now, if you haven't read Charlotte's Web, or at least seen the physical book, you've seen the movie. Popular movie. But a Kansas parental group decided because the book had 2 or more talking animals, they said this book must be the work of the devil and banned it from classrooms. Yep. They felt as though because humans are the highest life form that God created, any book that has animals doing what humans do is a work of the devil and it's pure evil, and they don't want their children reading it at all because it's disrespectful to God. I just think it's funny how people use their religion when it suits their needs. Like, you have your religious beliefs, but this is a book. This is a children's book. It's literature. It's fiction. It's fun. And you're using your religious beliefs to manipulate a children's book. It's just, I mean, let's step back. Is that what God really wanted you to do? Book number 5. Now, book number 5 I have never read, but I've always heard about it being banned. And that is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Yes, I said the name right. This book has been banned numerous times, but the United States School District decided to ban the book because in the 90s, not the 19th century, guys, in the 90s, because they used the word goddamn, and because of its questionable themes about censorship, repression, and religion. They banned the book. In the 90s. The 90s. Like, we're only in 2018 and this book was banned in the 90s. That blew my mind. For some reason, I thought this book would have been banned like the 60s, the 50s, back then. I don't even know how old this book is. It might have even come out then. Or even, we can go as close as the 80s. But the 90s, it was banned less than 20 years ago. That does make sense. It just blows my mind on how small-minded people are and how words strike so much fear into people. And we should see that. I mean, look at, it's 2018 and our president just says some things and people just jump off the diving board following behind him. So we know that words have such powerful meanings, but to ban a book because you don't agree with the theme seems a bit extreme. Ban book number 4, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Now, I have never read this book. I never was interested in reading The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I saw the movie when I was a young child, and that was probably an old adaptation of it anyway. This book was banned in this book was written in 1884. Okay. So let's make this clear. It was written in 1884. Of course, we lived in a different world in 1884, especially being black people, meaning black people, which is kind of starting to become real similar in 2018. But that's here nor there. Different world in 1984. Now, the controversy of Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is that they say the N word 242 times. And they felt as though this book reinforced stereotypes of black people. I understand, and this is a black woman, a proud black woman, not a let's make America great again black woman. Not that. But a black woman. I understand their reasoning for wanting to ban the book, because if the book was written forever ago, and it does reinforce black stereotypes, and it uses the N-word like it's nothing. But again, I'm an opponent of free speech and free literature, and if somebody wrote that in 1884, that was the world we lived in 1884. I still don't believe it's right to ban a book. Regardless of how I feel about it, or the next person, or the person after that, or the generations behind me, this book should still be available for people who want to read it to read. Everyone, you can learn something from everything. Even if you don't agree with it. You can always learn something. Number 3, Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. Now, Black Beauty is one of my childhood favorite books. I've told you guys before, British Sabrathia is one, Black Beauty is another. I've read Black Beauty 1,000,001 times as a kid. I just love the book. I always wanted a black horse. I've always begged my parents, can I get a black horse? Like, I live in Philly. Where am I keeping a black horse? But I just love the book. So, Black Beauty was banned in South Africa during the apartheid. And if people don't know what apartheid is, apartheid took place in South Africa. And apartheid literally means apartness Africans. So, it was in South Africa when South Africa was ruled by, ding, 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 Caucasians. White people. It was ruled by white people who have come from other places and took over South Africa, because Africa is a African continent. Black people, that's where we originated. That's where all people originated, to be honest, but that's where we were from. So when colonizers came over and took over, they took over South Africa and decided that black people weren't good enough to be together anymore in South Africa. So apartheid took place. And it's basically racial segregation. So during apartheid, they banned the book Black Beauty because the titles had the word black and beautiful together. That's how serious they wanted to just shame black people, and I'm looking for the word, but to break us down so bad that because a book had the words black and beautiful in the title, it was banned. They didn't want black children, because it's a children's book, to feel as though their skin was beautiful. Even though the book has nothing to do with people and is about a horse. It just blows my mind how people's hatred just takes them in places that are just so unfathomable. Like, places out there to come to these conclusions. I was shocked by this because of the title, the two words placed together. They did not allow people to read this book. I couldn't imagine my childhood not reading this book. I was obsessed. When I tell you I was obsessed with Black Beauty, I had a horse, a black horse. I had the book in like 3 different copies of the book. I had the movie. I made my parents take me to like a horseback riding place, and I only wanted to see a black horse. Like all the other horses had to kick rocks because I wanted to see a black horse. That's how obsessed I was with this book as a child. Could you imagine if I grew up in South Africa and never experienced the pleasure of reading this book just because it had the word black and beauty on the title? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's stupid. And I hate to use the word stupid because I just think it's not an intelligent word to use. But it's stupid. Now our second book, sorry, the Black Beauty one has me hot. But our second book would have been my number one, but it kind of got trumped when I decided to make this list. And I'll let you know what the number one is. But number two is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone. I do the Sorcerer's Stone, by J.K. Rowling. This book was banned in Massachusetts by a pastor because he felt it was, the storyline was inappropriate for Catholic children, the portrayal of death, evil, and hatred. Children are not strong enough to resist temptation, and it's their job to make sure to protect their being from such evil things like Harry Potter. Now, I grew up on Harry Potter. Harry Potter came out when I was, in school and elementary, the first editions. I remember the Harry Potter parties at bookstores. I remember the love for the books before the movies were even released. I went to all Catholic school. I didn't jump on the Harry Potter wagon until I think my sophomore year in high school, and our Catholic school teacher decided to give us Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone as summer reading. And I was just like, I don't want to read this children's book. Everybody's so hype about this book. This book cannot be that great. And I read the book, and of course, like everyone else, fell in love and became totally obsessed with Harry Potter, and ended up having to read those huge books back to back to back because I wanted to catch up before the movie started coming out. Because there was, around this time, it had to be like 2001. There were speculations that the movies, they were being made into movies. So I wanted to read them before the movie started. So I'm like devouring these books. I also remember the campaign to get the books banned because of sorcery and witchcraft. I don't understand why people felt as though this, okay, let me take that back. I understand why people felt as though this book could have been evil. But again, this is children's literature. Harry Potter was the reason why reading blew up. Such like massive reading was becoming popular with young people of all colors and creeds. Harry Potter was that reason. It was Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. Everybody was reading these books. Everybody. It did not matter who you are, your demographics, how much money your parents made. Everybody enjoyed Harry Potter. And for a book like that to bring people together, to ban it because you felt as though it was evil, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I'm not going to go on because I can talk about Harry Potter forever, but Harry Potter is my number 2 book on the banned book ridiculousness. And that brings us to our number 1 banned book on my banned book ridiculousness list. And that book only beat out Harry Potter because of the type of book it is. And that is the American Heritage Dictionary. The dictionary was banned in the United States. Okay. That blew my mind. Let me tell you why I was banned. Which gets even better, people. This gets even better. The American Heritage Dictionary, as well as the Webster Dictionary, was banned in Alaska, Anchorage to be exact, in 1987 because of the objectionable entries in the books. They had slang words, so they didn't like the dictionary. So they wanted to ban it from libraries and schools. Now, slang words such as bed, knockers, and balls. You banned the dictionary. Let me get closer. The dictionary. Because of the words that are in it. We use the dictionary to look up and find the definition of words and how to spell them. But because you did not like the words that were in the dictionary that people use to learn, you want to ban it. That blew my mind. That was like, boom, #1 book of the dumbest banned book reasons had to be the dictionary. It cannot be any simpler than that. The dictionary is not fiction. It's not literature. It's not something that somebody created out of their mind and put on a piece of paper. The dictionary is words and definitions. They were so upset about the slang words in the dictionary. They decided that libraries and schools should not have them in them. So what were we looking up the words? And of course, this is way before Google because kids really don't use dictionaries anymore. My students may be asking me for dictionaries every once in a blue moon, and that's when their phones are dead. But in 1987, we all use dictionaries. We use dictionaries, we use encyclopedias, we use everything. And to ban it because you don't like the words that are in it, it's just controlling and it's dumb. It's just dumb. And that is my list, my top 10 for banned book ridiculousness. Here's some more books that I thought were ridiculously banned for dumb reasons, but there are my honorable mentions. And this. A couple more books that I think were banned for the dumbest reasons, and I was surprised by. A lot of children books. So guys, if you like my video, comment, rate, subscribe. Give me a book that you felt was banned for the dumbest reasons. Do you like my list? If you have a list, create your own. Let me know how you are. How's everybody doing? We're in Philly and we're having our first, the East Coast, I guess it's all East Coast, having their first snowstorm. This is the second time I tried to record this video, so hopefully it gets out this time. Many blessings. Everybody, please, 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 please be aware of your surroundings. There's craziness going on in the world. Pittsburgh, California. Please be aware of your surroundings. If you're out of the United States, I live in the United States, and it's clear that Black lives don't matter in the United States, but I never thought the day I would see that white lives don't matter either. So we all know money matters more than anything to our government. So please, no matter who you are and what you believe in, just be safe. Love yourself and love on somebody else so they know that they're loved. I guess that's the end of my little speech. Have a great day. Many blessings. Comment, like, subscribe. If you're in Philly, say what's up. I'm out from Worth to Read.